The emergency broadcast test did something to the people in my town. We've barricaded ourselves in the library. Part 1. If anybody reads this, that means I've successfully been able to post this without it being taken down. Every other website and format I've been trying to write on has resulted in the same error notification being displayed, whether on a laptop or smartphone. I can only assume it's something that the people in charge of whatever this is have done in order to prevent anyone left from getting word out about what happened here. Some kind of jamming device or scrambler. But whatever reason, this site still remains accessible, and so I'm posting here in a place that I don't think they'll ever check, because someone needs to know the truth. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about the test of the emergency broadcast system that happened earlier today. It was still over the internet and on the news yesterday, according to the smiling archman of the local channel. It would happen around 12:20 in the afternoon and last for about half an hour, broadcasting on television, radios, and every cell phone turned on at that time. The town I lived in, those names I don't dare write in case anyone modifying the internet is using a controlling program searching for specific names or phrases, only has a population of about 1,500 people. Because it's such a small and tight-knit community, conversation about the announcement began spreading like wildfire. Didn't they already do a test on the system less than 3 years ago? Old Miss Carsey asked the cashier at the grocery store while I stood in line behind her with a frozen pizza in my hands. I think I read something about how they're required to perform the test every 3 or 4 years, Laura, she replied, while she waited for the elderly woman to finish writing out a check for her purchases. Later that night, my parents had gone to bed as I goggled myself on the remaining slices of pizza and watched reruns of I Love Lucy, and I got a text from my friend Aubrey. If I have to hear about this stupid test one more time, I think I'll scream, it said. I let out a small chuckle and typed back, yeah, you think that with all this commotion over the town that we were about to end up in a 21st century version of Caribbean Missile Crisis or something. After a few minutes, my phone vibrated in reply, lol, no joke. I was going to ask if you wanted to do some skateboarding tomorrow. We probably don't have much time left until the snow begins to fall. Hell yes, I muttered quietly to myself, then typed out a reply. I'm absolutely down for that. I'll meet you in the parking lot of the diner about 11:45. I hit send, then a thought occurred from me. I sent a quick second message before she could respond. I'm gonna turn my phone off tonight and leave it at home. I don't want to have to deal with the annoying tone going off. I took a sip of Coke and let my eyes begin to droop. Sleep was calling my name. My phone buzzed. Good idea. I'll do the same. I'm gonna hit the sack. After bidding her goodnight as well, I held down the power button on my phone, the Samsung logo briefly showing before turning black. I reached for the remote and shut off the TV, dumping my dishes into the sink before heading upstairs, tossing the powered down, phone onto my desk. I set my alarm for 10 before climbing into bed and quickly falling into a deep and dreamless sleep. In retrospect, turning off our phones and leaving them at home is probably what ended up saving our lives, at least sparing us that horrible, intentional fate anyways. In the morning, I quickly told my parents where I was heading, and after promising them I'd be safe, I grabbed my skateboard, home keys, and jacket, headed out the front door. The chilly fall air smacked me in the face as I let gravity pull me down the restrictable street towards downtown. Behind me, the rocky mountains rose, imposing up into the sky, seeming like the turrets of the castle fortress. There's been a rumor going for close to 40 plus years that horrible writer Dean Custos once visited here in the late 70s and ended up basing the fictional town of Snowfield on it and his novel Paranormals. I think it was a load of bullshit, though. I can't deny that our town looks very familiar to what the book described, so who knows? Looking left and right to watch out for the cars and trucks, I entered the town proper and made me beeline for the diner. Aubrey was leaning against the steps which led to the front door. "You're 5 minutes late, you know," she said, jokingly checking the watch on her wrist. If I waited any longer, I would have had to organize a search party. I rolled my eyes and the lame joke and chuckled, "Bite me." I retorted good-naturedly, causing her to let out a laugh. "No thanks, I don't think I'd like to taste you." This time, a full-blown laugh burst out of me, which set her off more. After a few seconds, we got control of ourselves again and straightened up. "So, where'd you want to go skate?" she asked me. I thought for a second, looking around the diner, packed with protons, having other lunch or a late breakfast, and the parking lot full of cars and trucks, too risky to scare here. An idea came to me, and I snapped my finger. The old Blockbuster. It's got plenty of railing to grit, and we can backflip over the parking lot bumps. Plus, since it's in the back of town, Sheriff Wake likely won't find us and force us to move. Aubrey rolled her eyes at the mention of the sheriff, the man with a major stick up his ass, and seemingly hated anyone skateboarding, or as he called it, creating a nuisance. Aubrey shrugged. "Sure, why not?" Our plan set. We tucked our boards under our arms and walked through town towards the abandoned building which once housed the video rental store in town. It took less than 5 minutes to reach it. The sign still stood in the entrance of the yellow letter, long since having faded in the sun. I checked my own watch, and Aubrey dropped her skateboard on the ground and pushed off. 12:05. The test was supposed to start in about 15 minutes. I shook my head again. We're glad that we ditched our phones that day. For a brief moment, I remembered I had forgotten to tell my folks I'd done so, and a small wave of guilt washed over me, and the responsibility they end up worried if they try to get a hold of me, but I pushed it out of my mind. I apologized when I get home. I dropped my own board on the ground and pushed off. For the next 10 to 12 minutes, the two of us whooshed and laughed, and we jumped and grinned on our way across the parking lot. All the stress of having graduated and needing to pick a college to go to fell away from my mind, and I felt as I can only describe as at peace. That peace was shattered by the sound of tires screeching, steel glass smashing against each other, rummaging off the buildings, and seemingly above the mountains above us. I'd been in the middle grinding the entrance railing. Then it came, and it startled me so badly I lost my balance, the board shooting out from under my feet as my hip smashed into the railing and I fell back off the earth, basically. I lay there for a moment, staring, pain shooting through me before I felt a hand on my shoulder. Damn, that's one nasty fall, Aubrey exclaimed. Are you alright? After deciding I hadn't broken any bones, I answered, Yeah, I think so. It stings like a bitch, though. I looked up at her. What the hell was that sound? I asked her. She shook her head, and a familiar confusion expression on her face. I don't know. It sounded like it came from back at the main road. She looked around, then back at me. I think it was a car crash. My thoughts exactly the same, I muttered, pulling myself into a sitting position. Helping me to my feet, she motioned towards where the sound was coming from. You want to go see? She asked.